Hello my dear friends, after a long break. And now with me Oppo Find X8 Pro. This is the first Oppo phone that lands in my hands. Today we are going to talk about camera in this phone. After some considerations, I decided not to do a typical comparison between Oppo Find X8 Pro and Vivo X100 Ultra, but I will make some comparisons to Vivo when I think is actually right. I think no one should be surprised here, because for me, Vivo X100 Ultra is one of the best phones on the market in terms of camera. To keep this review short, the camera specifications of the Oppo can be found on the board. In the case of the main camera, Oppo has chosen a well-optimized sensor, LYT-808, and this is sensor which last year got, among others, OnePlus 12. This lens has a good detail, photos are natural and quite soft. They are not over-sharpened and can really please. Compared to smartphones with a 1-inch sensor like Vivo X100 Ultra, with details will be less, but I have to admit that this is a really good unit. In good lighting conditions is really good, but you have to realize that the detail decreases in the worst lighting conditions. In addition, such a Vivo does a better job of pulling the detail of the shadows. A plus in Vivo is additionally color similarity in all 4 lenses. I often use the master mode, which allows us to customize photos for ourselves. It's a simple pro mode. However, the photos I'm showing here were taken in regular photo mode to show how photos look like without additional settings. Another plus is the fact that we can take photos in 50 megapixels, that is in full resolutions, from all 4 lenses. A new option is dedicated camera button, similar to the one we have in iPhone 60 Pro, but in my opinion it works a bit better. You don't have to use as much force to take a photo, and the control is limited to zoom, zoom out and take continuous shots. However, I don't use it too often. For me, this button is not comfortable to use. It should be located closer to the bottom edge. Maybe if someone has a larger hands, it makes sense, but for me, it's not comfortable. The wide angle is 120 degrees. I like the colors that this camera produces, but its detailing doesn't impress, especially when zooming in. You can see strong sharpening, although comparing to the, for example, X100 Ultra, it doesn't fare so badly at all. One time one phone was able to take a better photo, the next time the other will take a better picture. Portrait mode come out really well. We can use focal length of 23, 48, 73 and 135 millimeters. The background against the subject is blurred quite a bit in these default settings, but you can adjust it before you taking the picture. The separations of the subjects from the background usually comes out very well, although not always perfectly, especially in poorer light conditions. Sometimes Oppo doesn't quite cut the hair well. Here the 100 Ultra wins in my opinion, also in terms of skin tone, although the Oppo can also be liked, is a very individual matter. Oppo has 2 telephoto lenses, 3x and 6x. The 3x tele is really good, and even in worse conditions it can do quite well. However, to Vivo X100 Ultra, in most cases it falls worse in terms of detail. The tele in the 100 Ultra has a very large sensor. It's not even about megapixels, but about the size of the sensor. It's 1/1.4 inch and is actually almost the size of the main sensor in the Oppo. This really shows, especially in poorer lighting conditions and at night. In addition, these telephoto lenses focus from quite a distance, about 40 centimeters. So if you want to be sure that you are taking a photo from a telephoto, you must disable the automatic switching between lenses. The 6X in the Oppo can defend itself, especially in good lighting conditions. although in poorer lighting conditions you need to hold the camera quite steady, because even slight movement can cause blurry photos. However, looking at the 6X on the Vivo, which is not optical, sometimes I couldn't believe that the difference between these smartphones is so small at this 6X zoom. In terms of zoom, it is quite good. We have the ability to zoom up to 120x. In good lighting conditions, up to 10x is very good, and up to 30x is also quite good. Above 30x, you can see significant algorithm work. Oppo at least admits openly that the implementation of this zoom above 60x is done with the help of AI. The results are not bad, although in most cases it looks as the image is simply painted. In addition, if you're taking pictures with this AI lens turned off, you can see that some pictures differ and AI can actually add certain elements. Sometimes I prefer to turn off these AI lens options. The front camera in the Oppo is 32 megapixel. Unfortunately, there is no autofocus. The camera is pretty good. The pictures are quite natural, detailed, and most of the time can be liked. I like the skin tone on Oppo, and this camera can calmly compete with such a Vivo X100 Ultra. Macro photos are fine, but compared to the macro on the Vivo X100 Ultra, they can compete in terms of detail and zoom possibility. You need to remember that when you take a photo in Find X8 Pro using 3x and 6x with the macro lens turned on, the phone takes a crop from the main sensor. So the macro you take at close range will not be a photo from a telephoto lens. You can see this in the details on the photo. Night photos may be liked. However, there is a similar situation as during the day. Compared to smartphones with one each sensor, the details will be less. In addition, Oppo sometimes has problem with the white balance, but probably improves it with an update. I've also noticed a similar effect as on the Vivo X200 Pro. A lot of lamps reflections appear in the photos, those dots which don't make a good impressions. A few times when there was strong lamp lighting from several sides, I experienced similar flares as on the X200 Pro, although not in the same intensity. During the day you can also notice it, but like at night these flares are a little less noticeable than on the X200 Pro. However, just like there, you have to position yourself at a specific angle to get such a flare. This only proves that it is difficult to completely eliminate this problem. Reflections of lamp were, are and will be. Only the phone can more or less reduce them. Motion pictures come out quite well. We have a dedicated action mode which can be used for 1x and both tele. In good lighting conditions, on the 1x as well as on both telephoto lenses, the pictures come quite well. In worse light conditions, on this 6x telephoto lens it starts to be worse, but honestly this is such a big close-up that I rarely use it. In artificial light conditions, 1x is fine, but on 3x and 6x most of pictures will come out blurry. On the 3x less, but still there is no way to expect perfect pictures. When it comes to video, we can record in 4K 60 frames on both the front and main camera. While recording in 4K 60 frames, you can switch between all four lenses. Unfortunately, you can't even switch from front to main camera and reverse. There is no 4K 120 FPS, no 8K. We can only use Dolby Vision during recording. In terms of quality in good lighting conditions, it's very good, plus for stabilization. In poorer lighting conditions, the detail drops a bit, and you also have to take into account that especially in this 6x and above, the stabilization is no longer so good and the video starts to shake. In conclusion, I'm really happy that Oppo returned to global market. Oppo Find X8 Pro has a decent camera, but is not the best on the market. We have to remember that OnePlus 13 will appear soon, of course in Europe. And remembering what OnePlus 12 looks like, Oppo may have a main competitor in his own group. Okay, Oppo added a second telephoto in Oppo Find X8 Pro, but the main sensor is the same as in OnePlus 12 and in OnePlus 13. Oppo Find X8 Pro left a lot of breath for his brother, for Oppo Find X8 Ultra. And I think this Oppo will be the phone will offer everything the best, also in terms of camera. Thank you very much for this movie. I invite you to subscribe this channel. Please leave a comment on comment sections below if you want to. And I invite you to my next videos. See you.